Daniel Andrews is being grilled, as we just heard there, over the coronavirus. Talk us through what's happened so far this morning.
Well, Thomas, you just heard some of those exchanges this morning have been quite fiery. This is a parliamentary committee inquiring into the coronavirus response by the government here in Victoria. A big part of the focus this morning is, of course, on that botched hotel quarantine program. That's where the majority of the questions from the state Liberal opposition have been coming from. This morning, a big part of that line of questioning was trying to get the Premier to take accountability and essentially apologise for those breaches, which we know are responsible for at least a substantial number of Victoria's deadly second wave of cases, potentially even more than that. Here's one of those brief exchanges earlier this morning.
Your Health Minister was warned as early as May 11th by an infection control nurse of the disaster in hotel quarantine. Your Jobs and Precinct Minister organised quarantine like a massive inbound super trade mission. On your government's own figures, this complete failure of government policy will surely be the most disastrous economic and social catastrophe in Victorian history. Premier, how will you take personal responsibility for this? You've told us on numerous occasions you will be personally responsible. What does personal responsibility mean?
Well, in the first instance, Mr Riordan, it's not playing political games. It's instead being exclusively focused on driving down the amount of movement across the Victorian community, driving down the number of cases across the Victorian community.
You can expect a lot more of that going forward throughout the day. Also as well this morning, a video has surfaced from the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions, which is of course one of the government departments running the botched hotel quarantine program. This was an internal video circulated about a month into that program. It's essentially top departmental staff patting themselves on the back for that program, as well as revelations they had less than 24 hours to set it up. Now, this has also been a focus in the questioning this morning. The state opposition asking why the government chose bureaucrats essentially who were in charge of roads and even the art gallery to run what was essentially a health program.
It's been a really exciting project, and I think one of the things that makes Global Victoria staff so suited for this is that, you know, when we talk about trade, it's a business about relationships.
Did you or did your crisis cabinet decide that hotel quarantine would be better run by people who fix roads and run an art gallery than your own health department?
The answer to your question is no. At no point did people make a decision like that. People are across the board, Mr Riordan, across the board, people are performing roles and functions that are a long way away from what they might traditionally be expected to do.
Of course, Tom, Premier Daniel Andrews remains on the stand. Very soon he'll be replaced by Health Minister Jenny Mikakos, and then later on today we'll hear from Chief Health Officer Brett Sutton.